Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to take another look at the Dassault Rafale compared to the Saab Gripen in the Irish context. Now before I continue, I'd like to ask that you like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Now the very capable Dassault Rafale is made in France, and it is a multi-role twin-engined attack aircraft that is designed to be very agile indeed and capable across many mission types. It entered service in the early 2000s and continues in production and worldwide export to this day. Like I say, it's a multi-role fighter capable of air supremacy, ground attack, reconnaissance, anti-ship strikes and so forth. The airframe is typical European in the Canard Delta wing design, and it has two engines. The avionics between the Dassault Rafale and the Gripen are very similar in that they're both equipped with the advanced sensors, including the AESA radar, the optronic IRST sensors, and integrated electronic warfare systems. Now, the Dassault Rafale is not fully stealth, but it does incorporate reduced cross-section design elements. Now, there are three variants of the Dassault Rafale. That is the Rafale C, B, and M. The C is the single-seat land-based version, the B is the twin-seat land-based version often used for training, and the M is the naval version with reinforced landing gear for carrier operations. Now, the length of the two aircraft are very similar. The length of the Dassault Rafale is 15.27 meters, just a little bit longer rather than the Swedish Gripen. Now the engines on the French aircraft, the Dassault Rafale, are the Seneca M88-2 turbofans. The max speed is just above 1.8, service ceiling 16,800 meters. The combat radius is 1,850 kilometers, and there are 14 hard points on the Dassault. That is four more than the very capable Saab Gripen. Now the Rafale can carry a mix of ordnance, including air-to-air missiles such as the MBDA Meteor, air-to-ground precision guided bombs, and cruise missiles such as the Scalp and the Storm Shadow. It has an inbuilt 30mm internal cannon for close-range engagements. Now, as I said, the Rafale entered service back in the early 2000s, and it has been exported to several countries since, and that includes Egypt, Qatar, India, Greece, Croatia, the United Arab Emirates, and Serbia. Has seen combat in multiple theaters, and recently had the conflict between India and Pakistan saw the use of the Rafale against the Chinese variant. I think it might be in the J-14, and from all accounts, the Indian Air Force came out the worst for wear in that particular engagement. Now, how that might affect future orders remains to be seen, but India has a major defense modernization plan on the way right now that includes the procurement of additional Rafale jets. Now, it remains to be seen how that may change with regards to the encounter last year between themselves and the Pakistanis. Now, the design for the Rafale and the Gripen are, like I say, very much different aircraft. The biggest, I think, the difference is that the Rafale comes with the twin-engine design. And so the Canard Delta wing are common to both of them. The Dassault Rafale is built as a full spectrum omni-role fighter, whereas the Gripen would be designed for a lightweight multi-role fighter for dispersed operations, basically hit and run. It's optimized for smaller air forces and air corps like ourselves. It has lower maintenance footprint, and of course the carrier, the Gripen, no sorry, the Gripen, but the Rafale is a carrier version, so you can imagine there's quite a big difference in the power there. Now the engines are such that the Gripen is equipped with an American-made engine, which could be problematic, and that is the General Electric F414. Now, as a contrast to that, the Rafale is fully European-made, and it has the Safran M88s. Now, the max speed, interestingly enough, for the Gripen is Mach 2, whereas the max speed on the Rafale is less than that. It's at 1.8. So the combat radius, the Rafale has the edge on that, 1,800 kilometers as opposed to 1,300 kilometers, and the payload is not too much of a difference. There's 9.5 tons for the Rafale as opposed to 7.2 tons for the Saab Gripen. So the advantages of the Rafale for an Irish context would be that it has two engines, and so far as that gives greater redundancy over our vast sea areas. Uh, Now, it has a higher payload capacity and is better for deep strike missions, but that wouldn't really pertain to Ireland. Whereas the Gripen advantage is more pertinent to Ireland, and that has a lower fuel burn, lower operating cost, and easier logistics. Now, as I said earlier, the avionics are very similar between both aircrafts. Both are fitted out with variations of the AESA radar. The Rafale does have the Spectra electronic warfare suite, which is extremely capable. Both of the aircraft have the IRST sensor and Meteor missile integration. So in many ways, the avionics are very, very comparable indeed, whereas the Rafale has that Spectra electronic warfare system, which is often considered one of the best non-stealth survivability systems available. Now, the operating cost is where would really come in for Ireland, a smaller country. Not so much that we're cash strapped, but we would look to have the best, most efficient aircraft possible for our needs. So the Rafale has a higher acquisition and operating cost, whereas the Gripen is among the lowest operating costs of modern Western fighters. So that is specifically the Gripen is that specifically built for for affordability for nations like ourselves with limited defense budgets. Now, the pretty much the difference is that the strategic role is that the Rafale has a long range strike capability. It's carrier operated, heavy loads, that is, and it's used for power projection, whereas the Gripen excels at air policing, quick reaction alert, distributed basing, cost-effective air defense, and smaller force sustainability, which would be very much applicable to our own context here in Ireland. So the political and procurement considerations, Rafale is fully European made, as it were, whereas the Gripen uses the American-made engine F414, and that means that the U.S. export approval would be required. So now that is quite significant there. So that for smaller European nations like ourselves, the primary advantage of the Gripen would be that it's primarily for air policing, interception, and sovereignty protection. So that's really the video of today. Hoping you got some information that might be of use to yourself, and enjoyed making that. Now, if there is any other information that comes to hand on the Rafale, I'll definitely do another video in the future. But until then, I would like to say thank you for stopping by, as it were, and bye for now.